Why do modern societies have everything, wealth, technology, and knowledge, yet still lose their strength? Ibn Khaldun would have answered, because they've lost their ʿasabiyyah. Ibn Khaldun wrote in the 14th century, but his words are more relevant than ever. He realized what makes a civilization strong is not technology, not wealth, not power, but rather inner cohesion, a sense of we, a bond between people. He called it ዐsabiyyah. Today, however, we celebrate the self, independence, self-realization, but maybe that is exactly the beginning of our downfall. Ibn Khaldun describes ዐsabiyyah as the binding force within a group, an inner energy of loyalty, solidarity, and mutual responsibility. It arises when people no longer see themselves as isolated individuals, but as part of something greater, a family, a tribe, an ummah. But ዐsabiyyah is more than just group identity. It is not blind collectivism, but a conscious sense of unity built on shared values, shared goals, and shared sacrifice. For Ibn Khaldun, this force was the true engine of rise and stability, because only a society in which people carry and protect one another, where responsibility is shared and actions are collective, can build something greater and preserve it long term. He writes, ዐsabiyyah is what unites people, what brings them together in hardship and holds them together in prosperity. Without ዐsabiyyah, the individual remains weak, powerless against greater circumstances, easily divided, easily manipulated. But with ዐsabiyyah, a group becomes a body, a system that lives, protects itself, heals, and grows. And that's why its loss is so dangerous, because once this bond is broken, a society begins to decay from within, even if it still shines on the outside. The modern human is free, but often lonely. Individualism teaches you don't need anyone. Rely only on yourself. You are the maker of your own destiny. But what happens to a society where everyone sees only themselves? Family becomes a burden. Neighbors become strangers. The ummah becomes an idea, but no longer a reality. Responsibility is avoided. Commitment is feared. Community is romanticized, but not lived. Individualism has replaced the sense of we, and in doing so, destroyed the inner glue of many societies. Because if everyone lives only for themselves, who carries the burdens together? Who helps the weak? Who defends the truth? Who stands against injustice? When personal comfort is all that matters, what was once honor has become emotional baggage. What was once duty is now toxic expectation. What was once ummah is now an optional hashtag. So we live side by side, connected by technology, but divided by worldviews. We speak of freedom, yet we lose belonging. We celebrate independence, yet ignore loneliness. We've freed ourselves and lost our connection to one another. But ዐsabiyyah is not a prison. It is not coercion. It is a sacred bond, a sense of responsibility for more than just your own life. And without that bond, no society can endure. Not because it lacks laws or leaders, but because it loses the will to care, the strength to stand together, and the soul that once held it all. When ዐsabiyyah is lost, the facade doesn't break immediately, but the soul of a civilization begins to die. What happens when no one feels responsible anymore? When everyone lives only for themselves? When mine becomes more important than ours? Then the foundation begins to crumble. Politics becomes performance. Leaders no longer serve out of duty, but self-interest. Elections become popularity contests. Values are replaced by agendas. Economy becomes detached from ethics. The rich grow richer, the poor become invisible. Humans become resources, cost factors, statistics. Solidarity, a word from the past. Communities fall apart. Neighbors don't know each other. Families break down. Elderly people die in loneliness, while the young vanish into virtual worlds. Education loses its compass. Children learn to function, but not to live. They know the value of money, but not the value of responsibility, compassion, or truth. Spirituality becomes hollow. Faith becomes a private matter, detached from daily life. Mosques are full on Fridays, but hearts remain empty. The Ummah becomes a memory, rather than a lived reality. And what does society say? That's just how it is. Everyone has to look out for themselves. You do you. But that's not reality. That's the symptom of a breakdown of ʿasabiyyah, of responsibility, of heart. And the worst part? Collapse doesn't happen loudly. It happens quietly, softly, gradually, until no one remembers what true togetherness even felt like. Yes, there is a way out, because Allah did not create us as individuals in isolation, but as an ummah for a reason. In the Quran it says, "And hold firmly to the rope of Allah all together, and do not become divided." These are not symbolic words. They are a divine command containing the key to the survival and flourishing of a civilization. Because Allah knows our nature better than we do. He knows how pride, ego, greed, and fear tear us apart. And He knows true strength does not come from individualism, not from nationalism or economic progress, but from unity in faith, from solidarity among Muslims, from mutual responsibility as an ummah. As long as we remain divided, we weaken ourselves. But if we return to what Allah has prescribed for us, then we break the cycle. Then a civilization can rise again, not through power, but through truth. Not through dominance, but through divine guidance. Not through slogans, but through sincere hearts that act as one. We live in a time that says I, but longs for we. A time where people have millions of followers, but barely any real friends. A time where connection is constant, but hearts remain distant. Where independence is celebrated. Ibn Khaldun warned us, civilizations do not fall because of external enemies, but when the bond between hearts is severed. Maybe it's time to reconnect, not to live in the past, but to save the future.